A very good morning to all the students of class ninth. And as you know, dear students, we had started the first chapter of your history book, and the name of the chapter is French Revolution. So we have already covered part number 1, and today I shall be starting this video, that is a part 2 of this particular chapter. And the topic for this particular video is French society during the late 18th century. But before we start up with this particular topic, I want to take a short quick revision of the topic which we have covered in the part 1. So there was an important incident which we had discussed in part 1 of the chapter. Let's discuss that. So in the last video I told you that French Revolution lasted for around 10 years, that is from 1789 to 1799. So you have to remember, this was a time period of French Revolution, these 10 years, around 10 years. So today basically we will try and understand what was the type of society of France before 1789. That is, we will study about the old regime of France before 1789, because from 1789 till 99 there was the time period of French Revolution. But before French Revolution broke out, what was the kind of society? We'll try and understand what were the factors and circumstances which led to the incident of 1789, and there was a breakout of French Revolution. But still, before that, let me remind and take a revision what we have discussed. So I told you that this revolution lasted for 10 years, that is from 1789 to 1799. So we started our chapter by discussing an important incident which occurred on 14th July morning, 1789. So 1789, on 14th July in the early morning, we saw and studied one event where what happened: an angry mob of the people's militia attacked and stormed and demolished the fortress prison, the Bastille. As we know, there was a prison fortress which name was Bastille, that was stormed by the angry people's mob. And after demolishing that particular prison, they killed the commander of the jail, and also they released the prisoners. Although there were 7 prisoners, but they were released by the people, and they were in search of the arms and ammunition to fight against the king's army. But now, as we have understood that entire incident, I've just taken the short revision of that. So after understanding that event, so now the question arises that why did this incident occur? Why did this incident occur? So why citizens were so angry that they rebelled against their king of the state? Okay, and why were people dissatisfied by the governance of the king? Or we can say, to know the answer, here we can say that to know the answer of all these questions, we shall today try to understand the French society and disparity amongst the various classes of France which led to this French Revolution. So I hope you have understood the background of the chapter, that why we started with that particular incident which happened on this particular date, 14th July 1789. But we'll see what were the circumstances and factors of the French society before this particular year. Why this incident happened, what were the circumstances, what were the factors responsible for the French Revolution. For that, we will try to understand the French society today during the late 18th century. Late 18th century means we are talking about the year 89 to 99. It means in the year 19th century was about to start. So in the end of the 18th century, what were the circumstances and situation of the French society which led to this French Revolution? Why people were not satisfied with the governance of the king? So all that factors we'll try to understand in this particular topic. So now we'll try to understand this topic. This is very easy if you understand in a sort of a story. I will be telling you a story, and you have to keep all the points in mind, and you also have to remember it like a story step by step. So first of all, in the first video we have seen an incident which took place in 1789. So now we will see before 1789 what kind of society was France. Okay, so that is why the topic is France society during late 18th century. So I'm starting here in 1774. Please keep all the dates in mind, because without dates you will not be able to relate the topics, because after understanding this date you can relate that what happened on 1789. And we are now studying about the background, what kind of society was there in France before 1789. So in 1774, so you can say before this date 1789, and here we are talking about 1774. So in 1774, Louis XVI, the most important character of our story is Louis XVI, about whom we have to study, about whose governance we have to study, and about what situations and circumstances led to the French Revolution under Louis XVI as a king. So we'll understand all that. So in 1774, Louis XVI of the Bourbon family of kings ascended the throne of France. It means Louis XVI in 1774 he became the king of France. He ascended the throne, okay, and he was from the Bourbon family. Like we have our family, okay. So in the like we had studied about dynasties also. In the same way, Bourbon family was a family or the dynasty from which there were various kings. They used to succeed one after the other. So in the hierarchy order, we can say now Louis XVI was ascended to the throne of France. So he was a king in 1774, but at the same time, at that particular time in 1774, he was of only 20 years old, and he married to Austrian princess Maria Antoinette. So you have to remember all these incidents. In 1774 he became the king of France. He ascended the throne, and he was at that moment he was 20 years old, and he also got married, and he married to an Austrian princess Maria Antoinette. So you have to remember the name Maria Antoinette. She was a Austrian prince. Now you have to understand, this is not Australia, this is Austria, which is a neighboring country to France. This is a European country as well, okay. So you'll see in the map, Austria is a country of Europe and very close to France. So Marie Antoinette was a princess of Austria who married Louis XVI when Louis XVI was only 20 years old, okay. So till now I hope you have understood the story so far. Let me zoom a little bit for you, okay. Now the third important point is, I hope you have understand 2 points. Now upon his accession, the new king found an empty treasury. Now can you understand by this, when he was declared as the king of the France, and he ascended the throne, he became the king of the France, he found an empty treasury. It means there are financial stock of all the kingdoms to run their political social structure of their kingdom. They require a lot of financial help, financial support, and every king had that treasury with them to support in the situation of war, to support their army, to support their government offices, universities, etc. For all that they have some treasury. But when Louis XVI became the king, he found that treasury was empty. There was nothing in his treasury, so he was in a situation of debt, okay. So now in this particular question can be asked from you, that what were the reasons for an empty treasury when King Louis XVI, or when Louis XVI ascended the throne. It means when King Louis XVI became the king, what were the reasons that he found an empty treasury? So there are 6 points which you will have to write in the answers, and I've written all the 6 points. So in the same way you can write in the exams and you will get full marks, I hope, if you write all these points. So now we will try to understand that when Louis XVI became the king, okay, he was 20 years old, he had married an Austrian princess Marie Antoinette, but he found that the treasury of the kingdom through which he had to rule and govern his kingdom, his country, his state properly, socially, economically, politically, but for that he required a lot of financial support. But he found that that treasury was empty. So what were the reasons that the treasury of France was empty? So we are going to now find the reasons because of which the treasury or the financial support of France as a state was empty. See, in the same way you will have to write the answer also in point, even you can explain it more, okay. I have written some of the important points. If a question comes, what were the reasons for the empty treasury when Louis XVI ascended the throne of France, or he became the king? So the first point would be long years of war. So France was into war for long years, drained the resources. So all the financial resources of the France was wasted, and lot of the resources were wasted on war situations, okay. So we are talking about the time period before he ascended. It means before 1774. So Added to this, although they were into the war, they were investing lot of finance on lot of treasury into wars, maintaining their armies, etc. So maintaining the arms, ammunitions which were required during the war. So lot of income and treasury was wasted on it. And on the top of it, this added was the cost of maintaining an extravagant court at the immense palace of Versailles. Okay, so they had a very magnificent palace, a beautiful palace that's name was Versailles, and it had a immense a beautiful court also. So in maintaining such a big palace, it required lot of cost. Also, so in maintenance of this immense palace Versailles, lot of income was required. So this was the second reason. Then, under Louis XVI, France helped the 13 American colonies to gain their independence from common enemy Britain. So now what happened? France and Britain were the. I will show you over here. Suppose this is a map. This is Britain. These are the European countries. Okay. So this is This is France. So they were very close to each other and they were into war with each other continuously. And this was the location of, we can say, US, United States or America. So previously, like we were the colony of Britain, this was Britain, this was I told you France, and this is US. Like we were, India was the colony of Britain. In the same way, US was also under the control of Britain, and US was a colony of Britain. But now US also wanted independence. So US started its independent struggle. So it asked help from France, and France helped US to get freedom from Britain, because these two were enemies. So that is why France helped US to fight against Britain. And finally US got the independence with the help of the France. But for helping US financially, economically, and in a diplomatic manner, lot of income or lot of finance of France was invested on America to get its freedom. So the reasons we are studying, that why there was an empty treasury of France when Louis XVI ascended the throne. So one of the reason was this: France helped America to get the freedom from the control of Britain, and for helping, lot of income was wasted on America. So I'm reading out that one. Now you can relate it with the map that Louis XVI, France helped the 13 American colonies. In total, there were 13 American colonies, and those colonies were controlled by Britain. As we were also the colony of Britain, in the same way, there were 13 American colonies, and to gain independence, and they wanted to get independence from the Britain rule. So the help was provided to America by France against Britain, as Britain was the enemy of France as well. In that, they 2 billion livres debt. Livres were the currency of France at that moment of 70s 18th century. This was their currency. So they went into debt. So they had to borrow a lot of money from the other places or the other countries. In that, they got around 2 billion of debt, that is loan. They had to take loans from the other countries. Now they had to pay the loans back. So what was the problem? Now let's see. They also had to pay off these lands. So lenders who gave the state credit, so all the lenders who had provided the loan to France now began to charge high interest on loans. So they started charging a high interest rate, and that interest rate was around 10%. Now whatever loan they had provided, now they were charging an interest rate of 10%, which is very high. Large amount was spent on paying taxes. Okay, so now what was happening? Now France had taken the loan to support America and to maintain the Versailles palace, and lot of economy was wasted on war situations. So now they had taken loans, and they were also paying the loans and paying 10% of the high interest. And to meet its regular expenses, also it required lot of money. As a kingdom, it required lot of money to and expenditure on things like on maintaining their own army, the courts, running their government offices, their universities. It means lot of social and political activities were conducted, for which they required lot of expenditure. The state was forced to increase taxes. Now what could be done? It was already, it had taken lot of loans from the other countries, other lenders, and they were charging 10% interest rate. So now it became important to do something. So now Louis XVI thought, now he has to increase the taxes which common people or the people of the third state used to pay to the France state. So now it's written, the state was forced to increase taxes. tax was paid only by the third state. So now you must be confused, what do we mean by third state? So we'll try to understand that how French society was divided. Various sections or the various classes were there in the French society: first state, second state, and the third state. But the taxes were paid only by the third state. So we'll understand that king was forced to increase the tax. It means here king was forced to increase the tax, because as we have seen these upper points here, France had to was having so much of expenditure, but its treasury was empty. Now how could it pay so many taxes, as it has taken so many loan from the other countries? Okay, so to pay off those taxes and to see the expenditure of their country, the king thought to increase the taxes on the third state now. So we'll try to understand now these 2 points. I know you must be confused right now, but now we'll discuss what type of a society was France, how there were various classes and divisions between the classes, and which were the classes which used to pay the taxes. So till now in this video we have seen some of the important points of this chapter, where we discuss about the Louis King 16. When he became the king, he was 20-year-old. He married an Austrian princess, Marie Antoinette. And then we have discussed 6 important reasons for the empty treasury. When Louis XVI became the king, he found an empty treasury. So what were the reasons for that? We have seen 6 important reasons, and after understanding those reasons, it becomes important to understand the division of the society. What were the division and various classes of the society of France before 1789, because in 1789 the French Revolution has already broken out. So we'll here discuss the feudal society, so the old regime. So before 1789, the French society was called the feudal society, or we can say the old regime. This feudal society, because they used to follow the feudal system. Feudal system means where the landlords or the zamindars or the nobility, they had all the land with them. They consisted most of the land, and those lands were given to the peasants and farmers for working, and for that peasants and the farmers had to pay, or in the form of their produce, they had to pay it back to their masters. That was called the feudal society, or we can say the old regime, old system of France society. But here is before 1789, because 1789 French Revolution has broken out, and it went on from 1789 to 1799. So this was the period of French Revolution, but we are talking about before 1789. The society was called the old regime or the feudal society. So why it was called the feudal society or the old regime before 1789? The reason is here, and the division has been written down here. This was a structure of the French society before 1789. It was divided into 3 parts. There is not so much of confusion. It is very simple here. First state. State means e-state, not a state. It's first state, second state, third state. Now let's see which state consisted of which part of the people. Okay, which section of the people, sorry. Okay, so first state had clergy. Clergy are the people who render their services to the church. Somehow they are attached to the church for giving various services to the church. So those people who are a part of the church are called clergy. So they were called the first state, most dominant, I would say, section of the society in the French Revolution. And second state, here the people nobility. Under nobility, the nobles, as you have done studied from junior classes also, nobles are the people who belong to the ruling class. Okay, the family members or the relatives, friends, and the people having the high status as equal to the nobles or the king, those people are called nobles, or they come under the class of nobility. So ruling class or people having the high status. Okay, and the third state, which consisted of 90% of the population. So if we will talk about the population of France, 90% of the population was of third state. So 90% of the population was of the third state, that is peasants, merchants, laborers. Okay, including the, we can say, big businessmen were also a part of these peasants and merchants. So big businessmen, rich businessmen were also there, merchants, court officials, lawyers. It means educated class was also a part of third state, because they consisted of 90% of the population. So it does not mean only peasants and laborers who were uneducated were the part of third state, but big businessmen, merchants, court officials, lawyers, and some artisans, along with small peasants, landless, labor, servants, all those concluded this third state. But this nobility and clergy were more dominant as compared to third state, and as we were studying what were the reasons for an empty treasury, where we saw that at the last king was forced, he had no options except he wanted to increase the taxes, and those taxes were paid by the third state only. As I said, taxes are paid only by the third state. So the clergies and the nobility did not had to pay any taxes. You have to remember that whenever we will talk about the taxes, it means we are talking about the third state. This 90% of population of France, they were responsible for paying all the taxes to the government or to the state or to the clergies. We will see what type of taxes they used to pay. But now, previously they were paying the taxes, but now what we saw, as Louis XVI became the king, he saw an empty treasury. But to manage all the expenses, all the expenditure of his kingdom, he wanted to increase the taxes. And when the taxes will be increased, those increased percentage of taxes will also be paid by the third state. Here the problem rises when we talk about the French Revolution, where people feel there was lot of disparity between the first state, second state, and the third state, where the major pressure of paying taxes was on third state, and now the king had decided to raise or increase the taxes that also had to be paid by the third state. Okay, I've written down some points here which will be helpful for you. If we talk about clergies, who are clergies? So clergies and nobility all together have written a common, as they were the most dominant and they were having the high status as compared to the third state. They both belong to the first and second state. ठीक है, फर्स्ट एंड सेकेंड स्टेट, क्लर्जी एंड नोबिलिटी, दे enjoyed privileges based on the birth. It means based on the birth. If the child was got birth into a clergy family or the nobility, so automatically they were treated as clergy class or the nobility class, where they were given special privileges, okay, based on their birth. Exemption from paying any taxes. It means they will not be able to, and they will not have to pay any taxes to the state because they are born in the families of clergy or nobility class. So these were the extra privileges given to the class of clergy and nobility when we talk about the feudal society or the old regime of France. Now talking about the third state, this was the third state where I told 90% of the population of France belong to these state, where I told you of the big businessmen, merchants, court officials, lawyers, peasants, artisans, small peasants, landless, laborers, and servants. So they were obliged to pay taxes. So these 90% of the people who belong to third state, they had to pay taxes. They had to render their service to the lords. Lords means the people belonging to clergy class and the nobility. They had to render various services to them. To work in houses and fields of the nobles, they worked in the houses and fields of the nobles. To serve in the army, they also had to compulsory serve in the army, and they also had to participate whenever their developmental activities or projects were going on, like building of roads, etc. So all these activities were done by the third state people. And in third state, don't just think there were poor peasants and only poor landless laborers, but including them there were also big businessmen, merchants, educated lawyers. But along with them, they also had the classes where small peasants were also there, landless laborers were also there, servants were also there. That is why it consisted of 90% of the population of France. So this was a big class, but in terms of dominance, clergy and nobility was more dominant. They were having the privileges which was enjoyed by them by birth. Okay, so now let's talk about two important I would say taxes which were paid by the third class. As you have to always remember, the taxes were paid only by the third class, okay, or the third state, I would say, not the class here. So first name taxes are tithes, TITHES, tithes. Okay, so what was this tithes? There can be a definition in the exam for 2 marks also, so you should know. Tithes was a type of tax levied by the church. This tithes here, the people or the people of the third state, these had to pay a tax to the church. And what was this? 1/10 of the total agriculture produce. Whatever was the agriculture produce of any peasants or farmer or merchant, of that total production, 1/10 was to be given to the church. It was very compulsory. This was called tithes, where lot of third state gave lot of taxes to the state directly, but there were also taxes where the third state people had to pay tax to the church also. It means church charged 1/10 of their total agricultural produce. If I produce 100 kg of wheat or rice, I will have to pay 10 kgs to the church, and also from these 100 kgs I will have to pay some amount to the state. State means government or France. So there was like pressure on the agricultural farmers also, where they had to pay taxes separately to the church also and to the state also. So this was called tithes, you have to remember. And what is tail? Taille. Tail, it is tax to be paid directly to the state. This was the tax which we had to pay directly to the state. It means out of 100 kg, the tax which we had to give to the state, that was called tail. Okay, so these were the two type of taxes which third state used to pay to the church and to the state directly. But other than that, the things and the problems for these people of the third state did not end here, and a number of indirect taxes were also there. Not only direct taxes we were paying to church and to the state, other than that there were indirect taxes also, which were levied on the articles whatever we bought from the market for our own consumption, for everyday activities, work or consumption, like salt, tobacco, some of the things which we require for our consumption. On that also we had to pay indirect taxes. Okay, so that after understanding all that, after understanding the feudal society or the feudal regime of France, where we have seen first state, second state and third state, so now we can understand the overall that the burden of financing activities. So the overall burden of the taxes, paying of taxes, or the financial activities of the whole of France society was through taxes, and all was on third state alone. So all the burden of finance activities or paying of taxes was alone on the third state. First state and second state had not to pay any taxes. Okay, so we can see the burden on the third state. And apart from that, we have seen in the first part of this video, sorry, before this I started this topic, where I told you that now king has thought that he's going to increase the taxes, as he was unable to serve his country properly, because there was a lot of expenditure and the treasury was empty. So now he thought that he's going to increase the taxes, and those taxes will be paid by the third state again. So this is going to be a problem. From here we will see how people reacted to this decision of the king, that is Louis XVI, but that we will discuss in the next video, I think. Okay, so far I think it is clear to you. Okay, let's take a short revision of this particular chapter and also of the first part. This was the part 1 of the chapter, where I told you what do we understand by French Revolution. This is the time period 1789 to 1799. I gave you and told you the meaning of revolution first, synonyms of revolution. Then we saw the introduction to the chapter, and this chapter started with an incident, and that is why I called it a flashback. Okay, so with this incident we'll go to the flashback, and that incident was 14 July 1789, where which is also called the incident of where there was outbreak of French Revolution, where people had stormed and demolished the fortress prison of Bastille, where they hoped to find the arms and ammunition, in search of arms and ammunition to fight against the military and the people of king, and which led to the demolition of the fortress. All that incident we had covered in the first part of the chapter, and today we have tried to understand what were the factors and circumstances which led to this incident, why this incident occurred in 1789. And we have started this topic where we have understood today various classes of France, that is the old regime, where there were first state clergy, second state was nobility, and third state we can see peasants, lawyers, big merchants, small merchants, businessmen, which concluded 90% of the population of France. So we are seeing what was the disparity between these three classes, and how the clergy and nobility were having so much of privileges and advantages by birth. On the other hand, third state was being suppressed, and there was lot of discrimination, as lot of taxes were paid by the third state. And when the expenditure was increasing, and France was in debt already, so it tried and is thought of increasing the taxes, which again would be paid by the third state. So we had covered this today, this part also. And these I told you, these 6 point you can write if there is a question, what were the reasons for the empty treasury when Louis XVI became the king in 1774. So you'll have to mention these 6 points. So I hope you must have understood this chapter. And this part and these two parts are really very important if you have to understand. Also read it from your book. Here is a picture you can see. This is a king. You can see this was a feudal system also, where nobles used to sit like this, and the peasants had to come and they had to give some percentage of their total produce in the form of gift, whatever they had, to the king. And the king although had everything with them, but still they accepted everything from these poor peasants or the landless laborers, because the land was provided to these landless laborers by the noble. He was a master. Okay, so with this we come to the end of this particular part, and we'll do the next topic, that is the struggle to survive, in the next part. Till then, thank you, take care.